Hey everyone! Today I want to talk about The Man with the Golden Arm from 1955 by Otto Preminger. This is the 18th episode of my 1000 favorite movies series, where I talk about the movies I love the most in a random order. How is this for a movie pitch? Frank Sinatra plays a heroin addict. That's the pitch my dad gave me when I was younger to watch this movie with him, and I must say I was very intrigued. This is one of my dad's favorite movies, and it made a big impression on him when he was young, but unfortunately, when I saw it, it didn't have the same impact. I knew it was from the 50s, but I guess it still wasn't as graphic as I expected it to be. It also felt too stagey, and seeing Sinatra not doing any singing at all was a little disappointing. But obviously, I've completely reversed my opinion since then. And it's cool that now I think I see exactly what my dad sees in this movie, which I'm happy about. By the way, if you want to see more videos about more of my favorite movies with more great Japan locations, well, good news. I upload a new one every Friday, so please like and subscribe to see them all. I'm a very small channel, so every new like and subscription is much appreciated. Thanks so much. Now back to the movie. This is one of several Hollywood movies in the 50s that really pushed and challenged what could be depicted on screen during the Hays Code. Although heroin isn't mentioned by name, it uses the word fix instead. It's clear that they're talking about hard drugs. We see the effects of the drugs on the main character, and we get an injection scene, which comes dangerously close to showing the needle entering the arm. And the fact that the addict is played by Frank Sinatra, making this mainstream, is really kind of mind blowing. But this isn't a typical depressing message picture, warning us to steer clear of drugs or else. Instead, it's a vibrant and engaging character driven piece in which the drug element is only part of the story. It's about Frankie, played by Sinatra, who returns to his old neighborhood after spending time in jail. He was a drug addict and an illegal card dealer, but now he's clean, eager to start a new life as a drummer. As much as he tries to stay away from his old life, he eventually gets sucked back into both dealing cards and getting fixes. As an actor, Frank Sinatra has always been very appealing and easy to get behind for me. You want him to succeed, so seeing him get led back down his old path is difficult, but the movie is ultimately optimistic, offering solutions and not just indulging in hopelessness. And one big ray of sunshine in this movie is Molly, played by Kim Novak. She's an old love of Frankie's who has a boyfriend now, but you can tell still deeply cares for him. She's always encouraging him to pursue his drumming career, even letting him move his drum kit into her apartment so he can practice. Novak herself is also so radiant that it feels like she perhaps comes from another movie, almost like a guardian angel tasked with helping Frankie in any way she can. She's the kind of person I bet we could all use in our lives, unlike Frankie's current girlfriend, Zosh, played by Eleanor Parker. We have some initial sympathy with her in the first scene, but shortly after, she reveals herself to be a manipulative, negative person who uses others for money and support, while being totally unsupportive towards her partner. She also has a big secret, which I'll mention later, that really solidifies her as being a great villain. Other memorable supporting characters include Frankie's friend, who somehow looks like a turtle and sounds like a cartoon character, and Louis, the drug dealer who's relentless in trying to get Frankie hooked again. These interesting characters lend life to the wonderful closed off world this movie lets us spend time in. From the opening tracking shot of Frankie getting off the bus, it's clear that this is one big set, and the sheer obviousness of the set is somehow comforting. I said in the beginning that I thought this was too stagey when I was a kid, and while I usually find that as a flaw, I don't at all here. Maybe it's because the compositions and blocking don't feel stagey, which is the most important thing to me. But the staginess of the set is actually very appealing. I can't explain why, but one thing to be learned is that movies are fantasies, and as such, they don't have to strive for realism. In fact, it's often when they don't strive for realism where movie magic lies. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that I love the big set of this movie. It's cool. And these characters give us a nice sense of community in this closed off set, especially in the bar where everyone comes to hang out. That perhaps makes it a bit easier to understand how Frankie gets sucked back into his old habits again. Now, even though these elements make the movie entertaining to watch, it's still a pretty devastating movie in many ways. In the beginning, Frankie says that his doctor told him to start anew, and this basically shows the danger of not following the doctor's advice. It's sad because he was so close to achieving this, but what started the chain of events in the opposite direction was trusting his turtle friend to get him new clothes. but he stole them and landed them in jail. After that, he was strong in the face of Louis at first to not do drugs again, so the shot where he gives in is brutal, being an effective long shot of them walking into his apartment. Old addictions die hard, and as the film goes on, we see the effects of them show in disturbing ways, including violence. What follows is so much backstabbing, manipulation, and missed opportunities that it's sometimes hard to take. It's only when Kim Novak is on screen that it feels like salvation is even somewhat possible. Some of this darkness makes up my favorite moments of the movie. The darkest for me might be the scene during the card game that Frankie is persuaded into dealing for. By this point, he needs a fix, and feels awful, and the game's been going on for at least a day straight, without an end in sight. Eventually, Louis and the manager of the game talk him into cheating to win and end the game, to which he reluctantly agrees, even though he's unbelievably tired. He tries to cheat, but he gets immediately caught by the rich opponents he's playing against, and they beat him. The manager apologetically pretends he didn't know that he would cheat, and spits on Frankie while he's on the floor. This is his lowest point to me, in terrible pain and betrayed by his friends, forced to go against all his values with nothing to show for it. There's also the sequence where Frankie tries to quit cold turkey. He's locked in Molly's room, having to stand the pain of not having any drugs until he feels better. Call me ignorant, but I had no idea before this movie that this was a process that some people go through to quit, doing something like this with no medicine or assistance. Sinatra's performance, combined with Preminger's direction, makes us feel the pain of being trapped and helpless, having to just deal with it and stand immense pain. The shot in particular of him trying to simulate giving himself a shot with a comb hair is really disturbing, and I can imagine was even more disturbing to a 1950s audience. Finally, remember the mention of Frankie's girlfriend's big secret? Well, the moment where it's revealed is an all-timer for me. It's revealed early in the movie, but if you don't want to know, skip ahead a little. Ready? Anyway, we still have some sympathy for the wheelchair-bound Zosh at this point of the movie, but then when Frankie leaves the room, the camera backs up, and after a few seconds, she casually stands up and walks over to the window. The best part about this is its nonchalantness. There's no music cue, no cuts, no zooms, nothing to call attention to the fact that she's a huge liar. And the moment is shocking and, frankly, slightly humorous at the same time. But in the end, what I love about The Man with the Golden Arm is that it's a powerful, edgy for its time portrait of a junkie, played effectively by, ironically, one of America's most beloved figures. In a very entertaining way, it shows what might happen if you stay in your old ways, and it subtly inspires you to stay true to yourself and break out of bad habits. It's one of my 1000 favorite movies. Thanks for watching my video. Goshou makoto ni arigatou gozaimasu. Have you seen The Man with the Golden Arm? Let me know what you think in the comments. I think of all of my favorite movies as my friends, and I think of my audience as friends too. Remember, I upload a new video every Friday, so if you want to help me complete this 1000 favorite movies epic, don't forget to like and subscribe.